The armed forces of Ukraine destroyed 2 Russian tanks in the Kursk region as they attempted to cross the state border with Ukraine. Volunteer Serhiy Sternenko published the video. The tanks were destroyed when they tried to approach the Russian-Ukrainian border with the Sumy region. Thanks to the prompt actions of the aerial reconnaissance unit, it was possible to spot 2 enemy tanks stuck in the mud and unable to continue moving. Initially, the tanks were supposed to be destroyed by cannon artillery, but since it was difficult to conduct accurate fire, it was decided to use FPV drones to destroy them. FPV drones from the Wings to Hell unit of the 103rd Territorial Defense Brigade successfully entered immobilized tanks and destroyed them. It should be noted that due to the unsuccessful attempt to conduct an assault in the Kharkiv region, the enemy is trying to carry out a similar maneuver in the Sumy region. The Ukrainian armed forces are clearing the liberated settlements, where they managed to capture a large number of the Russian invaders. As previously reported, on May 10, 2024, Russians launched an assault in the Kharkiv region, namely in the direction of the city of Vovchansk. At the same time, Russians began shelling the city, which is located 5 kilometers from the border with Russia, with rocket and cannon artillery. Militarnya previously reported that the Ukrainian Defense Forces had showed a dozen captured Russian soldiers in the Kharkiv region. The photo shows about a dozen Russian prisoners of war who were captured during a new invasion attempt in the Kharkiv region. On 18th of May, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said that the defense forces repelled a Russian assault on Chasiv Yar in the Donetsk region and destroyed over 20 enemy armored vehicles. Today, the General Staff of the Ukrainian Army said that Russian troops are not abandoning their attempts to capture the city despite losses in resources and military equipment. For the second day in a row, Russians have been extensively using armored vehicles in the direction of the village of Novyi. Yesterday, Russian units attempted to penetrate Ukrainian combat lines with 2 tanks and 21 infantry fighting vehicles, but suffered losses and retreated. The occupiers deployed a tank, 2 infantry fighting vehicles, and 2 Tiger armored vehicles. Ukrainian soldiers destroyed the equipment during the battle, forcing the enemy to retreat again. Roman Hasko, the spokesperson for the 80th Separate Air Assault Brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, noted that the battle for Chasiv Yar, located west of Bakhmut, is at its peak. According to him, the intensity of the fighting remains quite high for an extended period. There are no signs of it decreasing, as the enemy has sufficient artillery, ammunition, and personnel to continue fighting, as per Union. Meanwhile, the president added that combat engagements continue to occur across different parts of the front line. On 10 May, Russian invaders began an offensive operation in Kharkiv Oblast, targeting areas near the Liptsy and Vovchansk villages. On 18th May, Russia lost 19 soldiers and 10 units of military equipment on this front. A push by Moscow's troops in the Kharkiv province aims to stretch Kyiv's troops along a wide front, the Institute for the Study of War, ISW, has said, and its maps show the latest state of play in the Ukrainian region that borders Russia. Russian forces have claimed success following their offensive launched on May 10th just over the border. Constant shelling has led to the evacuation of thousands from the town of Vovchansk, although Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said Moscow's troops have not yet reached Kyiv's most powerful third line of defenses. In his first interview since the start of the offensive, Zelensky told the AFP on Friday, Ukrainian forces had stabilized the area amid assessments that Moscow wants to create a buffer zone along the northern border of Kharkiv Oblast. In its Friday update, one ISW map shows the distance of the Russian operation in the Kharkiv region compared with other parts of the front. Another map cites Russian claims that Moscow had seized the villages of Lukyantsy and Buruvatka on May 14th, Staritsa a day later. and advanced north of Lipsy on May 16th. The map also indicates claims by Russian sources that on May 13th, Moscow had advanced to the north bank of the Vovcha River, and on Friday had seized the village of Zybina. Russian President Vladimir Putin said Friday that Russia's operations were going according to plan in the Kharkiv direction, but there were no immediate aims to attempt to capture Kharkiv city, which is Ukraine's second biggest. This chimes with the ISW's assessment that Putin's forces seem to be prioritizing creating a buffer zone over setting conditions for deeper penetrations into the north of the region. It comes as local officials in Kharkiv city said that Russian forces injured at least 5 people following a series of explosions that destroyed several houses on Saturday afternoon. On Friday, a Russian glide bomb strike on Kharkiv killed 4 people and wounded over 30, according to the city's mayor Ihor Terekov. Meanwhile, in Vovchansk, around 40 miles away, at least 2 civilians were killed and another one injured on Friday, according to the regional prosecutor's office.